All right, good night and good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing really well. My name is Daniel Blagrove, and today is what day is it today? Today's Monday. Geez, I almost forgot. And it is Monday night training here with CashFlow Tribe. I'm excited because I got an awesome friend of mine, colleague, and fellow investor who has been doing deals over the last 2 years, who's going to really add a big piece of value to everybody who's tuning in tonight. So really looking forward to all that's going to take place. But for those who don't know, this is CashFlow Tribe. This is where we do our live trainings twice a week on Monday and on Thursdays. And so really glad that you're here tuning in. If you're tuning in from Facebook or YouTube, definitely welcome. But I want to give a special shout out to everybody who's on the Zoom call. That's Raymond, Raleigh, Chai, Ben, Mammy, and Rashana, and all those who are going to be coming in as they're trickling in. Just want to thank you all for tuning in. Really cool. I got a couple announcements. So before we get to the meat and potatoes, I just want to share something real quick. With CashFlow Tribe, we have over I think we're getting close to 6,000 people in our Facebook group. We got thousands of people on our platform. I like to think that we've actually impacted a number of people on their real estate journey. And if you are one of those people, whether you've been on a call, you've seen a social media post, you've seen one of our trainings, you've been to one of our events, including the short-term rental event that happened this past weekend in Waterloo, Ontario, definitely do me a favor. Go on our Facebook page and on the reviews tab, go ahead and recommend us. Give us a review. Let us know what your thoughts were and how it impacted your journey. We'd love to hear about it so that we can find ways to grow and be better. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. When you get on the CashFlow Tribe Facebook page, you'll see right here this tab called Reviews. Click on that, scroll down. It'll ask you a big question. Do you recommend CashFlow Tribe? Give me a big fat yes. Love to see how it impacted you. You can see whatever everybody else has been saying here. And so definitely be encouraged. We want to grow. We want to continue to impact more people. And so the more that you help us out is the more we'll be able to help others out. And secondarily, because this is CashFlow Tribe, one of the things that we do is we have a premium membership. And in our premium membership, what we do is we have a number of things. We got tools and resources that can help you go further, faster in your real estate journey. These are things such as calculators, premium training, such as the one you're watching right now, access to live events, discounts, and a lot of good opportunities to connect with like-minded investors. I'll go ahead and share my screen one more time real quick so I can show you what the website looks like. When you go to cashflowtribe.com, as you see here, success in real estate investing lives here. We'll show you everything you need to succeed, where we have thousands of real estate investors, where you're able to join an online community and be able to move with speed and proficiency so you can build a successful business. You can even see right here, I got an online webinar where you can check out how exactly you can get started in real estate. And so definitely click that button down there if you want to really get kick-started on your investing. But I would say even before that, you got to tune in right now because we're about to get into a really cool, awesome conversation, a really cool talk, and it's going to be led by the one and only Alan Abbas. Let me tell you about him real quick because, man, he is a phenomenal real estate investor. His story is very much like many who resonate. He is a blue-collar worker working in Windsor, Ontario. For those who don't know, that's in the southwestern part of Ontario here in Canada. And he's just like everyone, just like the rest of us who want more. You don't just want to settle with a job and live with a 9 to 5 and just kind of settle with mediocrity. What he decided to do was to take action and find ways to get ahead and really build a business or build using real estate an opportunity for him to get ahead financially. He was able to get connected to our founder Ben Mearson, and through counsel, the mastermind, he was able to really accelerate and do deals. He has been doing wholesaling. He has been now more recently flipping houses. He has also been taking down properties in the midst of, I believe you've been working on your house hack as well, if it's not finished already. And so he's been doing a number of different strategies, a number of deals. We're talking, he is very experienced here, doing a number of things, starting from zero to get to where he's at today, quitting his job and doing this business full time. I absolutely got to bring him on because he has a lot of things he could say, a lot of value to share. And so if you are here with us, throw us a comment. Let us know that you're here. Welcome, my man, Alan Abbas, aka the boss, the one and only Alan Abbas. Alan, are you with me?
Yes, I am. Thank you for the introduction, my friend.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. It's all yours. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to share my screen. I got a little PowerPoint I put together for you guys, so I figured that would be best for me to bring on right now. And can you guys see the screen?
Yes, I see your Zoom tab.
Okay, let me get this one.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. Y'all still with me?
Come on now, throw it in the chat real quick.
Okay. So yeah, I just want to start by introducing myself. Investor, small business owner from Windsor, Ontario. I started in 2019 with wholesaling. As Daniel said, I was working a blue collar job as a robot programmer in Michigan. So that's programming robots for Ford, GM, Chrysler, basically a factory job. And then I joined CashFlow Tribe about 2 years ago, exactly. And after joining CashFlow Tribe, I was able to attend a boot camp in January of 2020. And after that, I joined Council February 2020, and I'm still a member. So it's been almost 2 years. It's pretty crazy how time flies. But so I just want to let you guys know that I was in your seats 2 years ago. So to be here talking to you guys, it's really an honor. And just to give you guys a little background of what I was able to do since joining Council. So last year, my first year in the business, I did 12 wholesale deals. I did 2 flips, and I purchased my first property, which is a fourplex that I'm burning and gonna house hack. So 6 figures in revenue, my first year in real estate. This year, 2021, over 100,000 in gross assignment fees. So when I started, actually, I had $30,000 of debt, and this isn't the good debt that we talk about. This is bad, terrible consumer debt. So thankfully, I was able to pay that off, buy my first property. I'm about to refinance it. It's just about ready. I'm about to move in, which is super exciting. Left the full-time job to pursue real estate, and recently I pivoted. I got into flipping opposed to wholesaling, and I have 2 flips ongoing right now in Windsor. And just so I let you guys know, I'm not saying these things about myself to impress you. I just want to impress upon you what's really possible. Like I said, I was in your seat 2 years ago without any properties under my belt. And it's pretty cool to see what you can accomplish in such a short time. And that ties into the topic that I'm discussing today, which is creating the right environment for success. And I really want to dig deep into my sequence of events, just looking back at my journey, just so you guys kind of have a better understanding where I started. And again, I will tie this back into our discussion. So I first started learning about real estate, especially wholesaling, in 2016. I was living in Edmonton, Alberta at the time. So I paid, big bucks to attend their seminars. But right after, I actually decided to move back to Windsor from Alberta to go back to school. Didn't do any deals at the time. So 2016 to 2018, went back to school for the robot technician program and started working. So in May of 2019, I was laid off. And there's someone that I met through Rich Dad who was out of Toronto, and he was hosting his own real estate events in Toronto. And I missed one, but then I was laid off. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go check out this event. And I'm in Windsor, so Toronto's a 4-hour drive one way. So I went to this event, drove 4 hours there, went to the event for a couple hours, and came back the same night. And it was just kind of on a whim. Like, it was just my intuition. I really wanted to go. And what happened was, after the event, the guy hosting introduced me to another investor. This guy was from Windsor. He had 100 units or so at the time. He had massive success, and he went through the same Rich Dad training, but he really took massive action, and he reaped the reward. So that one event with that one introduction kind of kick-started off my whole real estate career. So I stayed in touch with that investor. A few months later, I found an off-market deal in Windsor. I was driving around Windsor, driving for dollars. So I called the investor that I met and said, "Hey man, I got a possible deal. Are you interested?" Long story short, he was, and that was my first deal. It was a wholesale deal, not a whole lot to some of the numbers you hear, but it was $3,500, my first deal. And for me, I was just super excited just to get that first deal under my belt. And that gave me, a lot of confidence. So moving on, I joined Council, and last year, 2020, that same investor bought like 6 more deals from me. So that one connection, I'd have to do the math, but it added up to like 50K or so worth of revenue from one person I met at one event that I, randomly decided to go to Toronto, and thankfully I did and met that person. So I joined council. I learned about the marketing, business building, raising private money, and throughout my journey, there's a lot of firsts, right? The first time I did a wholesale deal, the first time I raised private money or used a private mortgage, first time I bought a property, period, joint venture, raising OPM, unsecured, etc. So, you know, starting from nothing, putting yourself in the right environment, you start to kind of take action and get those results. A lot of firsts. So why your environment matters, there's a lot of reasons, but basically your input. So what you listen to, what you read and talk about dictates our thoughts, right? Our thoughts lead to actions and our actions lead to results. So I just want you guys to kind of think to yourselves, you know, what do you guys currently read? And if so, what are you reading? Are you reading stuff about real estate, business building, or, you know, personal development, or are you reading like fiction novels like 50 Shades of Grey or whatnot? So, you know, that goes back to your thoughts will dictate your actions, which will lead to the results. Same with what do you listen to? You know, are you listening to the music on the radio, or are you listening to audiobooks and podcasts? Are you guys talking about positive things or negative things, and discussions with your friends and family, right? The thing that I noticed is in this environment, CashFlow Tribe, and especially council, it's a different dialogue. We're not talking about, you know, celebrity gossip or sports or politics. We're really talking about business building, creating wealth, generating revenue, and just growing personally and professionally. So it's all about the environment. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the law of average, but the law of average states that you'll be the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. So you're going to have the average health of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're going to have the average income, the average business, assets, net worth, etc. So just something to keep in mind, like who are you spending time with? You know, I've kind of pondered this to myself, and in the past, I've surrounded myself with people that they might be great people, don't get me wrong, great friends, but they have very little income, like basically zero, some people. So if I'm surrounding myself with that kind of person, you know, it's not right or wrong. It is what it is. Like they're kind of bringing you down in that income aspect. They might be a great person. They might bring value to your life in other ways, but just keep that in mind. So again, back to being in this environment, I surround myself with people that are worth, you know, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. And that just forces you to kind of elevate your game. And it really makes it more normal. Because what I found is in the outside world, you know, most of your friends and family, typically, most of them probably aren't investing in real estate. So if you try to tell them, hey, you're going to wholesale, you're going to flip houses without any of your own money, they might kind of look at you like you're crazy or like, what is this guy talking about, right? And it's really hard when you're by yourself trying to make that happen and you have all these outside voices come in and kind of just bring in doubt. They have their own self-doubt, but now they kind of plant a seed of doubt in the back of your mind, right? Versus people that are actually doing deals and then they're encouraging you and motivating you and letting you know that they can help you accomplish what you're trying to do. So it's just, you know, super, super important. And yeah, so you just got to keep that in mind. You know, are you surrounded with people that are fearful, that are saying they're waiting? How many people say that they're waiting for the market to crash before they buy something? People are saying that for years, you know. They're really fearful because they don't know how to find a good deal and really profit. They think just prices, they just don't know what they don't know, right? Or are you surrounding yourself with people that are doing deals? You know, high income earners versus the lazy people. Going back to, you know, what are you guys talking about, right? And going back to the discussions we have in council, it's super, super cool what we talk about, just business building, buying and selling businesses, investing. You know, there's not too many other places where I have those same kinds of discussions. So looking back through my journey and the sequence of events that I just, you know, talked to you guys about, it was really the environment that kind of led to my success. So it started off with that Rich Dad seminar where I first became aware that you can wholesale and what it was, right? And then it was that networking event in Toronto, going out of my way, driving 4 hours to go to a networking event. And really the key for that was not even the event itself. I stuck around after. Sometimes they say the meeting after the meeting is most important, right? So after the general event, everyone kind of went home. Some of the speakers there and the top investors, they hung around for a beer and whatnot. So I made sure to stick around and really have more in-depth conversations and get myself into the smaller rooms, right? And that's kind of where the magic happens. And after struggling to get that first wholesale deal, then joining counsel, if it wasn't for that, there's no way I would have done all those other wholesale deals. Maybe I would have done one or two more, but to do 6 figures in wholesaling, taking a private mortgage to buy a fourplex that I'm gonna burn, house hack, like there's no way I would have been able to pull that off if it wasn't for the environment. I had all these fears leaving the job and buying. I basically left the job and bought the fourplex, and I want to keep the job because I was like, hey, I need it to qualify. But having the right mentor like Ben, he's like, hey, well, there's also a private mortgage, right? Like there's always an answer to the problem. There's always a solution, right? So, and I remember being in one of these groups a couple of years ago, and it just seemed that everyone had a deal. This person is flipping something. This person is bought another rental. It just seemed like everyone was doing deals, and it was just like normal in this environment. It's like, what the heck? Like, I got to get some deals done because, he's doing a deal, she's doing a deal. It just seemed that everyone was doing deals, and it was like the norm in this environment. And that's like a positive peer pressure, right? To really make you elevate your game and take action. So I got some tips for you guys to create a better environment. Maybe you guys aren't in a position to join a mastermind like counsel, or you're just not familiar, you have some questions, but really could take small steps, right? Like reading books, right? Reading the right books about real estate, business, marketing, personal development, listening to audiobooks and podcasts rather than the radio. So if you guys want some suggestions, Real AF with Andy Frisella, The Making of a DM, Mark Evans, and Scale with Speed, Judge Graham and Matt Monero. These guys are heavy hitters in business, in real estate, especially Making of a DM. So when you start listening to this stuff, it just changes your whole mindset, and you got to kind of reprogram yourself. Other than books and audios, networking events, that one in Toronto kind of changed the trajectory and really kick-started off my real estate career. And even just like video chat, Zoom calls with other investors, whether they're in CashFlow Tribe or other Facebook groups. Right now, I got a flip going on in Windsor, and I partnered up with someone. It's a joint venture from a fellow council member. And it's funny because I've never even met him in person, and we're doing a deal together, right? And there's another deal I got going on in London where I'm the money partner and the active partner is flipping it. And I've never seen the property in person, right? So it's really cool once you can leverage your network and technology and make deals happen and make some revenue. I'd say the next step is really hiring a coach or a mentor. And that's another thing I realized just throughout my career when I just started wholesaling. The guy with the 100 units that bought half the deals from me, he signed up with Rich Dad Coaching, right? So he dropped big money to invest in a coach and a mentor, and it paid off for him. So, and also I pay attention to the other people around me. So my mentor, Ben Nurison, Ben Humble, he hires mentors, right? He hired Chris Ruud was one of his first mentors, and then he doubled down with Mark Evans, Judge Graham, Matt Monero. He just joined another mastermind. So what I started to realize is all the big players that really do this for a living, and have a real business, they don't just do it on the side. Like this is their bread and butter. They all invest in mentors and masterminds and coaches. I even heard Chris Ruud say, the professional investor that does this full time, they invest 6 figures in their education. Not only do they invest in themselves, but 6 figures. And I don't know if you guys heard of Stefan Arnio. Unfortunately, he passed away about a year or so ago, but he was an investor from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And that's another thing he said. So all these guys, these that are super successful in my eyes, they all are saying the same thing. They're all hiring coaches and mentors. So I figured, hey, if I want to have a similar result to what they achieved, I need to take similar steps and take similar action, right? So you got a coach or a mentor. You can join a mastermind such as the council, and just network with local investors and business owners in your market that are doing deals. So I want to open it up, and if you guys have any feedback, any questions for me, please throw a hand or put it in the chat. And if you guys have any times that you can recall in your personal life where you put yourself in a certain environment, in the correct environment that led to success, I would love to hear about it. If you guys have any stories you'd like to share, please come on and just feel free to discuss.
Yeah, so who has got some questions? Definitely feel free to unmute yourself. I'll be checking on the socials to see if anyone from YouTube, Facebook. Glad to see everybody on today watching and really getting a lot of value. I am absolutely definitely excited because there's a lot of golden nuggets that you just dropped that if people picked up and started applying would completely change the trajectory of where they're going in their real estate journey. Anything from like, even if it's just something as small as instead of listening to your favorite TV show that doesn't actually add any value, you actually go and change it to a podcast. Literally just one podcast. Think about this. There are a lot of business podcasts that are out right now where it literally just, it's like you're on a fly on a wall when you want to hear successful entrepreneurs have a conversation. It is so powerful in that regard. So I got one question just going on social here from YouTube. And let's see what they got here from Joshua Hill. It says, can you explain wholesaling a little bit more for someone who is brand new? So Joshua's tuning in from YouTube. He wants to know more about wholesaling. Can you just break it down as someone who has never heard of this before?
Sure. Yeah. So wholesaling is basically when an investor does or a wholesaler does marketing direct to the seller, and you find a really great deal and you make an offer. You get it under contract. Under contract means the seller accepted your offer. So you have an accepted offer. Typically, we have conditions in the offer. So you want to make it conditional upon financing or partner's approval or whatever you want, really. There's a few ones that are common. But it's basically when you assign the contract, you're basically selling the contract to another investor. They pay you a flat fee, an assignment fee, or a wholesale fee to buy that contract. So they're not really buying the property from you. They're buying your contract with that seller. And why someone would do that is because you got a really great deal. So let's say you got a distressed property. The property needs a lot of work. It would be a great flip if someone were to buy it, renovate it, and sell it for a profit. They're going to make X amount of dollars. Let's say 50,000. So someone will actually pay you a flat fee, 5, 10, 20,000, whatever the number is, because they're going to make more money from that deal. And these deals are off market typically. So they're not with a realtor, and otherwise you would never know these deals exist, right? So that's why you are paying this wholesaler, because they're bringing you a deal that you don't know about, no one else knows about. And if you flip it or keep it as a rental or whatever your exit strategy is, you will make money. So I started off as a wholesaler. I actually bought wholesale deals as well. So my fourplex actually bought from another wholesaler. So I paid him $15,000 to buy the contract from him in order to buy it from the seller. And more recently, one of my flips, I paid the wholesaler $50,000. Now the amount, it depends on how good the deal is, right? If they locked it up at a super low price, you could charge a higher assignment fee and you could capture instant equity versus if the deal isn't that profitable, you're going to get a smaller fee. So hopefully I answered that question.
No, I thought you answered it extremely well. And honestly, for those, maybe Joshua, if you're still struggling to understand the concept, just change it to another item. Let's say you're flipping tables. All right, you find a table that is deeply undervalued, right? And you're able to acquire, even though the table's worth $100, you get that table for $50, and then you give it to someone else who's looking for tables, and you give them that table for $60. you made $10 off of that table. And that person that you sold the table to still got a deal because that table's worth $100 and they bought it for 60. You got it for 50, so you made $10 off it. Now just add a few zeros to that, and you're doing that with real estate. That's really what the game is right here. And so definitely really like that explanation, man. We got a question from BC, and this is also from YouTube. It says, is wholesaling and off market is wholesaling and off market realistic in a hot market like the current market that we're in? And if so, how do you find wholesale deals? Thanks. Oh, so his name is Brian. His name is Brian. So do you need me to read that question again, or do you understand it?
No, I got it. Yeah, Brian. Doesn't matter what market we're in, wholesaling is possible. I know it's possible because I've done wholesale deals this year. I bought wholesale deals from other investors, and I sold wholesale deals. So it's still being done. Now, is it harder? Absolutely. The easiest time to wholesale is in a down market because you will have motivated sellers everywhere. When the market's hot, you might not come across as many wholesalers, or sorry, you might not come across as many motivated sellers. So it is still very much doable. People are doing it, but it might be tougher. So the way you go about that is through marketing direct to seller. There are so many different ways to do it. I'm sure most people are aware of bandit signs. Typically it's a yellow sign with black letters, "We buy houses." I'm sure most of us have seen those around. Another one is sending either letters or flyers to people's houses. So we all get junk mail. You might get junk mail from a realtor. So wholesalers also send direct mail or junk mail. And it's really a numbers game, right? You could go door knocking. My first deal came from driving for dollars. So I was just driving around the city. I seen a for sale by owner sign. I approached the owner. I was able to make them an offer. They accepted. I signed the deal. The second deal was through networking. So I met an investor. I stayed in touch with them. They were selling a property. I got him connected with my buyer, and I was able to assign that contract. So it is definitely doable. Now, a reason why I did start to get into flips this year opposed to wholesaling, because I was doing less and less wholesale deals. So I noticed that a couple other investors had a wholesale deal, and I thought it was a great deal for me. So I just jumped on it. So it is still very much being done. It doesn't matter if you're in a very expensive market either, like Vancouver or Toronto. There's still deals there. People are still investing and making money every day. Or if you're in a small city, Windsor or Moncton or wherever you are. So very much doable.
I love it. I love it. I think that's all the questions for now. So you can definitely continue, man.
Well, I just wanted to open it up. I didn't really have anything else planned. I have my info here. If you guys want to connect, add me on Facebook. I dropped my email and my phone number there as well. Feel free to connect if you have any questions. If you guys want to maybe partner up on some deals, if it makes sense, we could always talk about that.
Amazing.
But yeah, let's network.
Yeah, let's continue to connect here. Harold, good. This is a comment that came in from Zoom. So, and by the way, guys, this is the power of networking, connecting. Like we're talking about Alan being able to open himself up to having more conversations. Like you see his phone number right there, his email right there, and even add him on Facebook. This is how you build relationships. This is how you connect with those who are doing exactly what you want to do. You want to change your circle and get around people who are doing the things that you desire to do. That way, you're always, just like he said, you're being positively peer pressured. You're seeing the things he's doing. You're seeing the things he's talking about. Now let's get on that same page. Let's get on that wagon and let's start doing the work. Now, Harold, he's got a question here in Zoom. He says, how did you get connected with an investor, or the investment you made, did you enter a JV agreement?
Okay, so it depends what deal we're talking about, but most of I got a JV in London and I have a JV in Windsor, right? So both of those, my partners, my joint venture partner came from council. So they were part of the mastermind. They invested in themselves. They got the training. So we kind of have a similar mindset. And the most important is I know them, I like them, and I trust them, right? And I'm on title, my company's on title. One of them, I have a second mortgage. So I have collateral and security there, just for peace of mind, right? You never know, life is unexpected, things happen. So there are ways to protect yourself, but That's pretty much what I did through counsel, through networking. One person that you meet will introduce you to another, etc. So, one of the flips that I'm doing in Windsor by myself, no JVs, I raised 100% of the money. So when you raise private money, one of the benefits is there's no credit check. They're not calling your employer. They're not looking at your pay stubs. You are paying a high interest rate, but it is short term. So as long as the numbers work for the deal and you're still profitable, it doesn't really matter. And that was a private lender that was introduced to me by one of my mentors. This lender I built a relationship with now, and the other one was actually a family member, one of my cousins. He's sitting on cash and he wanted to invest it, and he's been watching me for the last year or two, and he knows what I'm about. So I said, hey man, I have an opportunity for you to make 10% return. Are you interested? And he was. So I bought a property for 180, but I raised 240 because I raised that extra 60,000 for renovations and holding costs. So basically have $0 of my own money in this deal. And that just comes from networking and building relationships.
No, I really like that answer. And I have a follow-up question about that. So when it comes to partnerships, right? Let's say someone is brand new, they're really looking to get started, right? They don't really have any connections in real estate. They just hear like even a lot like myself, to be honest with you. One of the things that I've noticed when I first got interested in real estate is that a lot of people, no matter if it was in real estate or not, they always parked their money in real estate. However, they made their money, whether it's through the entertainment industry, through video games, through sports, through tech, building a company and exiting, they always have some part of their portfolio in real estate. And so that's what really intrigued me. But for the person who maybe doesn't really understand how they can go from zero to getting one and they don't really have the contacts, what would you do in their shoes so that they can get to eventually where you are today?
Okay, so to make a deal happen, there's three main components. Stefan Arnio wrote a book about this: money, people, deal. And the investor will connect these three dots, right? Um, so find one of the pieces. If you're just starting out, maybe you don't have experience, just find one of those three pieces and you will be able to make money, right? So for me, when I started, I didn't really have any cash, but I had energy, I had time. So I got into wholesaling. So I was able to find undervalued properties and sell the contract to buy them to another investor, right? So it depends where you are because everyone's situation is different, right? Some people have a bunch of money, they don't know what to do with it. So you can be a private lender, you can lend and have some equity, have an equity stake. So it really depends where you're at. If you don't have money, I would focus on the deal because the deal is kind of the most important part because there's no money to be made without the deal, right? So someone will buy that from you for a flat fee. Typically, the lower amount is usually 5,000 for assignment fee. 5,000, 10,000 typically. It could be more, it could be less. Um, but if I was brand new, I would just hit the ground running and try to find an off-market deal, something that needs a lot of work that will cash flow or that you could sell for a profit and then get plugged in with an investor that is investing in that area and they might be able to buy it from you.
And that's the name of the game. You just have to really be consistent at exactly what Alan just said. Now, for one person, that could maybe take 2 weeks and they can get their first deal. For another person, it could take 2 months or even 8 months. But the reality is, if you stay consistent, you show up, you build your skill set and doing the very thing that Alan was just talking about, you will increase your chances of getting to that deal. Now, I do have a question from Kinson, Alan. Kinson, what's up, man? Tuning in from YouTube. Good to see you on. He says, if applicable, can you share why you prefer to wholesale and flip versus burring a property?
So I think it was just where I was in life. So I had debt that I wanted to pay off and I want to build up capital in order to do a burr, right? Because you can use it, you can do it with 100% OPM. It is, or you can use part of your own money, right? So I didn't have the, I guess, experience or level of confidence back then in the very beginning, right? I was just starting out. So for me, the easiest way to get my foot in the door was through wholesaling. It appealed to me. I heard that you could flip houses with no money, no credit. I'm like, cool, because I don't have either, right? So for me, it made a lot of sense. And then I paid off debt and I was able to stack up some money and then buy a property to BRRRR. So I'm BRRRing right now a fourplex. I have 3 units rented. I'm going to live in the fourth and do a house hack. And I'm just getting ready to paint the exterior. Hopefully the weather will be nice in the next couple of weeks. And then I'm going to do the refinance. So this will be my first BRRRR, but I had to build up that confidence and make some money in the beginning. Also, I left my 9 to 5, right? So the BRRRR is a great long-term play to pull out your money. But, you know, day to day, month to month, you need income. So I left my job, right? So really what I'm focused on and what we talk a lot about in the council is building an active business. An active business is basically wholesaling and flipping. And that's basically how I get my paycheck, right? And then my personal plan is to take some of those proceeds and then deploy that in a BRRRR. So that's kind of what I decided my niche is. I'm going to flip or wholesale single family homes and duplexes, and then I'll hold on to triplexes or fourplexes or bigger properties, if it makes sense, right? So that's kind of why I did that. Everyone has their own reason, and everyone's in a different situation.
You make a good point about that. Everybody's in a different situation. Therefore, everybody's going to go about real estate in a different way, right? Just because one person is going after student rentals doesn't mean you got to do that, because they're going, what they're looking to get may be completely different from yours. See, the truth of the matter is everybody invests in real estate for a different reason. However, we all use the same asset class to be able to accomplish these things. Now, I do got a couple questions here within the Zoom call as well. So Harold has a question here. He says, so I'm in a situation where I've gotten off-market multifamily deal, ideal for short-term rentals, well undervalued. I'm trying to contact some podcast hosts I follow and also a mortgage broker that specializes in BRRRRs. I'm not looking to wholesale, but JV. Am I taking the right path, or is there a better option?
Again, I think it depends on your personal situation, where you are in life, financially and otherwise, and also what your goals are, right? Because like I keep saying, everyone's different, right? But if you do want a joint venture and you want to hold on to the property, you definitely can do that. You just got to find a money partner and decide whether you're going to bring another active partner, or is the money partner going to be the active partner as well, or are you going to be the active partner? So for the one flip I'm doing, I'm the money and the active partner. The other guy just brought the deal. So he's a wholesaler out of town. He got the deal in Windsor before I did. He locked it up. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm in Windsor. I know the market. I got the experience. I got the money. If you want, we can partner up. Now, this is a short-term flip. We're going to be in and out. But it doesn't matter. If it's a BRRRR, if it's a joint venture for a BRRRR, that can definitely happen. Again, you just got to connect those dots and figure out, you know, who's doing what. And keep in mind, if you are bringing in the deal, that's very valuable. But at the same time, if you're not going to be the active partner and the money partner, you have 2/3 of the pie coming from the outside. So what I'm trying to get at is you might get a smaller percentage than the other people involved in the deal, right? So just keep that in mind. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. But you know, if you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out after this, and maybe we can maybe I can help you out.
Absolutely, and reverse engineer your goals as well. Really start with the end in mind, and then ask yourself, what's the immediate next step that I would have to take in order to get to that spot. And that also helps really gain some clarity, especially when you start with the end in mind. Because once you start with the end in mind, you'll work your way backwards and know what you need to do today to get there. So Steven says, where do you primarily invest?
So primarily in Windsor. I just know the market here very well. That's where the bulk of my deals are. I did mention I have one joint venture flip in London, or just south of London, actually, where I'm the money partner, and there's my partner over there is the active partner. So I got one in the London area, and also I did a campaign in Alberta. So looking to do some more marketing in Alberta to do some deals out there.
Now, that's a really good point that you make because you're investing in your home market because, well, it's what you know best, and you're able to do deals out there because you have a competitive advantage from all those other people who try to come down to Windsor just because the price is a lot less from where their home base is. But you have the advantage because you know the streets, you know the houses, you know the neighborhoods, and you know exactly where to do. However, you do partner with people so that you can also create more opportunities in other markets. Now, you did mention that you're investing out in Alberta. How did you originally get into that opportunity? Because there are some people who are in other parts of Canada, maybe they're considering investing in other provinces. What was your thought process, and how exactly did you get to where you are today, where you're doing that in Alberta?
Okay, so just full disclosure, I haven't done a deal yet, but I am active with the marketing. I think it's only a matter of time. So Alberta came to mind because I did live there for a few years, and what happened was Windsor got super, super hot. The market got competitive. Prices went crazy. And prices are pretty depressed in Alberta. And also the laws in Alberta favor the landlord versus the tenants as they do in Ontario. So Alberta, from that perspective, was very attractive. And like I said, I'm a bit familiar. I do have some contacts there because I did live there. And what I realized is you could do this business virtually once you kind of learn the ropes and have the right people in your corner, so to speak. You can leverage your relationship with them. And I know a few people in Alberta right now where I can call them about a deal and they know the market better than me, right? So they can just answer the questions that I have. They can do a walkthrough for me. I can, give them a piece of the deal, make it worth their while. But there's a lot of reasons for Alberta, and I know other people. They have other markets they're interested. Maybe East Coast, Moncton, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, wherever. So you just got to figure out, what makes sense for you and the market specifically. Maybe there's markets that are growing in population versus decreasing. So that's obviously a good sign to invest as well.
Absolutely. No, that's some great knowledge right there. So let me know. Let me know on social. Let me know here in Zoom how y'all are feeling. Let me know if you're getting some value here. Alan, real quick, talk to me about something that you're working on right now. That maybe it's a skill set, or maybe it's a limiting belief, or what is something that at this stage of your investing game that you're saying, hey, this is what I'm working to overcome right now.
So right now, it would be like hiring people and delegating more. Because I'm wrapping up this fourplex, but I also got these other two flips. They're under control now, but in the beginning, even as simple as this is, signing up for utilities like insurance, you need electric, gas. Sometimes a hot water tank is a rental. All these little things. It doesn't sound like a big deal, when you buy one property, no big deal. But when you got three, it's really a pain in the butt. Plus, managing the rentals, and I'm trying to get more deals, right? Because it's a very slow process if you flip one house at a time, because you got to do the rentals, you got to put it on the market, you got to wait for it to sell, you got to wait for it to close to recoup your money. It's a very, very slow process, and I'm trying to scale my business. So I'm at the point where I want to delegate these administrative tasks, the low paying tasks, if you will. I could pay someone, $20, $25 an hour, and I can focus on bigger problems and stuff that's going to pay me $100 an hour or more, right? Um, so for me, it's just, our mentor Ben has been kind of drilling us with this for the past couple of years, and I feel like now that I have multiple projects on the go, I really feel it, where like I'm just running around, going to Home Depot, going to Lowe's. It's like, man, like I gotta focus on the money sheet. What we talk about is you gotta focus on the stuff that money generating activities, right? Like me talking to a seller and getting a deal under contract is going to lead me to wholesale it and make money, right? Yeah, I got a couple flips. I got to obviously go through with the renovations, but it doesn't really have to be me babysitting the contractors, right? Like I could hire a project manager, let's say, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at, where I want to start hiring and delegating and building a team and a real business. Because up until now, it's been kind of a self-employed gig, just a one-man show, and I really need a team to help me grow to that next level.
That's a really good point. Like it may seem something very minuscule or very easy, such as, oh, I got to run to the store and grab this, or I got to set up these utilities or whatever. But it really does become a bottleneck when you're at the stage of doing multiple deals, right? And so that's definitely something that the reason why I ask this question is because even if you're not at that stage where you're doing multiple deals and you could say, that's nothing for me to worry about yet, let me just focus on doing one deal. The reason why I mention it is because you want to have these systems set from now so that when you are in the position where you're dealing with multiple properties, you already have these types of problems already solved. And so this is definitely something that you really should keep in mind when building your business. Now, we do got a couple more minutes left, so maybe we'll run a few more questions before we get out of here, Alan. But when it comes down to pivoting strategies, right? You always talk about, it really got to depend on your goal and your circumstance and situation, right? And so I highly, highly, highly want to stress, y'all, definitely really allow your goals to be your North Star. If you ever have any questions about, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Ask yourself, what is my goal? And then your second question should be, which of these two options that I'm deciding between will best serve that goal? Oftentimes, going to those two questions will get you a lot of clarity and will help you fight analysis paralysis and be able to take action. Now, Harold does have a question in the comments. I'm going to shoot one time to you, Alan. He says, I spent a couple months in Calgary and Edmonton researching BRRRRs there. A lot of people seem to like Edmonton more due to the diverse job market and the government there. What's your opinion on both markets, or did you focus on smaller communities?
So those two markets were definitely at the top of the list to focus on. The first one, we actually so far only did one campaign, and it was in Calgary. The reason why we did Calgary is because we were working with someone on our team that was in Calgary, so we had boots on the ground. So it was a girl that wanted to get into wholesaling, so we're like, hey, you're in Calgary, we'll do a marketing campaign in Calgary. That way, she's able to do the walkthroughs. From my experience and knowledge, Edmonton is more of a blue collar town. Calgary is more of like a white collar town. But I've heard the same things, that Edmonton has more government jobs, more stable market, versus Calgary has a lot of oil field companies, oil and gas companies, right? So obviously the Alberta market has been hit because of the economy there. So it really depends. Like, I think there's opportunities at both markets. I can't say for sure, which one's better for BRRRRs, because I just haven't done it, right? So if you are seriously considering investing there, maybe reach out to someone that's local, actually doing BRRRRs there in Calgary, in Edmonton. I'm under the impression that there's deals in both cities. You have to decide what makes sense for you, what's a better market for you, and maybe one market you have a competitive advantage. Maybe a realtor there, and you're able to get access to comps a lot more quickly than the other city, right? So I would do that, and maybe look at the metrics, like look at the population growth, look at the jobs, look at the unemployment rate, and if it's really like a tight call to make, I would just look at the metrics and make a decision based on the data, not the drama.
That's something that we often we learned, especially in the early stages. Get in front of the data, forget the drama. It's not about emotions. It's not about what you think. It's about what the numbers say. It's not about what you want to have happen. It's about what it currently is and what the data shows it could possibly be. And so, yeah, I really like that. And once again, it just goes to show that you don't have to necessarily be the expert in it, so long as you partner with someone or have access or resources upon which you can pull from so that you can make informed decisions. Really, really, really good questions, Harold. Definitely keep coming in. I'm going to check socials. Joshua says, thank you for your time, Alan. Really, really awesome. We got a couple more minutes left, so definitely put any questions you got down here. Once again, Alan, maybe real quick, if you want to share your screen and just put your contact information up there. That way, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, we absolutely can. Guys, this game is relational. You want to put up the ability to connect with people so that you can get there faster. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a single game. You hear what Alan is saying. At his stage, he wants to hire. He needs to get in front of people who can do the work of what. When he said money sheet, there's another sheet called the parking lot sheet, and this is about stuff that needs to get done. These are the tasks such as setting up utilities, such as going to Lowe's and picking up certain items, such as managing contractors, such as doing all these other tasks, while you go out and perform the money sheet tasks. And these tasks are simply tasks that make you money, are directly tied to making you money. And so definitely reach out to Alan. You see his contact information there. Real quick, Alan, before we end it off here, I want to ask you one last question. If you had to go back to the beginning, right, with what you know now, what would you have done differently?
I would have started marketing earlier, and probably invest in a coach or a mentor. So I heard about wholesaling. I knew that people send letters out, but I just wasn't confident really into taking that action. And it's because I wasn't in the right environment. So once I got myself in the right environment, and I did my deal, my first wholesale deal, $3,500. There's another guy in the room, young guy, early 20s. Um, and this is in January, mind you. And I remember, I think it was Matt McKeever. He's like, yeah, this guy, he made $35,000 year to date in January. So what the first month of the year, he made 35 grand. So that just kind of blew my mind. Um, and then, I got the letter from him, but I still didn't take action. And I went back to the next boot camp. And those guys, that particular wholesaling team, they were doing very, very high numbers. Like they're making 50,000 a month. And that was just mind boggling to me. Right. So I was like, man, like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, this is what we're doing. He told me. He was not hiding it. He was very open with me. He's like, these handwritten letters, here you go. Knock yourself out. And I was just under the mindset of, okay, they did this, they sent these letters out and they got this result. They made 50,000. So if I sent out the same letter, I should get a similar result and maybe make 50,000. So that's what I did. Maybe I didn't make 50,000, but the 1 month in 2020, 1 month I made 28,000, right? I think I had 3 deals closed that month. And I still had a 9 to 5 at the time.
Now, I just want to ask you real quick, when you had that much money in that month, what were you thinking? Like, what was going through your mind when you seen that realize? Because it's one thing to see this online and to see other people do it. It's a whole other thing when you take action and it happens to you. So what was going through your mind at that moment?
I mean, excitement at first, right? You're very excited. It's a boosted confidence. Just like you're encouraged to do more of it, right? Like, man, if I did this in 1 month and with this much effort, what if I tried harder? What if I worked harder? What if I did more marketing? Like, how much more could I make? What else could I accomplish? So um, it took me a while to get that first deal because I didn't do any marketing, right? Because I didn't know, because I didn't hire a coach. I didn't have that confidence. Uh, that's why it took me so long. But once I hired the coach and hired and joined a mastermind and seen what everyone else is doing, and I just applied it. I started doing deals. Right, my first marketing campaign, I did 5 deals from that one campaign. Right, and I just wish I started the marketing sooner. And I probably would have if I had a mentor to be like, "Hey, man, this is what we're doing. This is the result we're getting. Give it a shot." And really, that's what it came down to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a masterclass brought to you by Alan Abbas. He has been doing deals. He will continue to do deals and show you what's possible when you are someone who takes the knowledge, applies it, gets around other people who are like-minded, doing bigger things so that you can grow, because he knows, just like others, that you are the average of the 5 closest people you spend your time with. This could be podcasts, this could be in-person events, this could be phone calls, this could be masterminds. And whatever you do, take this knowledge and go apply it, because only those who apply it will see the benefits of it. And so, like I said in the beginning, if you want to get in more conversations just like this, highly, highly, highly recommend that you join CashFlow Tribe Premium. It is a membership where you'll be able to level up your real estate investing expertise by using our tools and resources, our live trainings, our course content, and getting into a virtual room of thousands of investors. And you'll be able to do deals faster by getting around people who are like-minded. And also, if you got any value from today's stream, definitely please do me a solid. Go on our CashFlow Tribe Facebook page, leave a review. You'll see the information on your screen now, especially if you're on social. You'll definitely see that. Just grab your phone, go to the viewfinder of your camera app, and it'll take you right to the website where you can leave a review. But without further ado, we're going to let you get right back to your evening. Thank you so much, everybody who's tuning on Zoom, YouTube, Facebook. Next week, shout out to Tom. Next week, we got a premium training with Tom Dela Cruz, where he's going to be showing you how he was able to get up to 20 units in just 1 year. And so these are the conversations that we as investors are having in masterminds and in premium groups and in clubs just like this one. And so definitely don't miss this one. It's a great one. Tom is another investor, just like Alan, who's been doing great things. And so really looking forward to that training. And so, like I said, follow and get all the information you need from Alan, as you can see on the screen here, from Facebook, his email, and his phone number. If you have not taken it down at this point, you are losing money, straight up. You're losing money. And so definitely stay connected. I'll see you on Thursday. Alan, any last words before we call it quits?
I just want to thank everyone for showing up and investing your time here with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Daniel, for being the host. And definitely hit me up, guys. Let's work together. Let's do some deals.
Community, results, impact, and transparency is what we're all about here. I'll see you on Thursday. Follow Alan, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care.